Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast for Northern Beaches Toastmasters. My name is Sue Loucks, and I have been a Toastmaster for just over a decade, belonging to numerous clubs over that time, generally 2 or 3 at once. I've reached the dizzying heights of a distinguished Toastmaster, which is the top of the education program, and I have been a member of Northern Beaches Toastmasters since 2012. I'm truly excited to be part of their 20th anniversary celebrations this year. Joining me today is Jan Vecchio, a distinguished Toastmaster many times over, who has probably forgotten more about Toastmasters than I will ever know. Jan is the epitome of the success of the slogan, "You'll never know if you don't give it a go." And I want all of you to experience firsthand Jan's story. But a bit more about Jan. She joined Toastmasters in 1997, and she has been a club officer every year since, often multiple roles at the same time. In 2004 to 2006, she was the District 70 Treasurer. She was a contest budget officer for District 70 from 2006 to 2010. And in 2009, Jan was awarded Toastmaster of the Year for District 70. No small feat. In 2012 to 2013, Jan was a District 70 Governor. And in the 2 years leading up to that, she was a Lieutenant Governor, Education and Training, and Lieutenant Governor of Membership. She was awarded the Presidential Citation in 2019, and Jan might tell us a bit more about that later. But in my mind, the most important aspect of Jan's history is that in 2003, she sponsored Northern Beaches Toastmasters, which means this lady started our club. Currently a member in 4 clubs to expand her growing journey in leadership and public speaking, please join me in welcoming Jan Vecchio. Jan, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with me today.
Thank you, Sue. It's a pleasure.
Jan, why don't you start us at the beginning? What first brought you to Toastmasters?
So it's an interesting story, a funny story, and I related this to a club the other night. I was in tap dancing classes, would you believe, where I met a lady who could see how fumble-footed I was. And she said to me, "You'd be better off in Toastmasters than dancing." so with that, and she kept telling me this for 4 years before I went to a meeting. Never fully explained what Toastmasters was, but convinced me, using the power of persuasion, that I would be better off doing Toastmasters than trying to tap dance. So that brought me into Toastmasters. And at that point, I was as nervous as could be at that first meeting, but I could see how confident people were when they walked up to the lectern to do their presentations. And I thought, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. And so the next meeting I joined, and the rest is history. 1997.
And I take it you don't tap dance anymore.
No. I gave that up well and truly, and he was right. I am better at the Toastmasters than tap dancing.
And you mentioned that you were nervous when you first started. And I know that most Toastmasters, when they first come in, have that exact experience. Would you say that we've helped with your confidence?
Oh, definitely. Toastmasters to me is all about building confidence. I am an introvert person. I was incredibly shy. I'm still introverted, but I guess that's under control now. But having that confidence to be able to even be here today, let alone, stand up in front of my club, to be a district governor and stand up in front of everybody in the district and speak. And I've spoken at the international convention. Just, there was only an audience of about 200 people, but to be able to do that was something I would never have dreamed of doing. And Toastmasters has given me that confidence. Yeah.
Fantastic. That is a hell of a story. And I hope that everyone can hear that and realize we might not have the same journey, but it is possible to overcome those nerves and grow your confidence. Has Toastmasters experiences helped you outside of Toastmasters in your career or social life?
It certainly helped me in my career. I'm almost retired now, but it helped me to build up my business. I just had a small accounting practice and tax agency, and it helped me to build that up. And I gained great skills, particularly when I was the district treasurer, getting great skills there with MYOB experience to be able to apply that into my life outside Toastmasters. But it's given me a social life, which I never dreamed I would have. Even though I had friends and family, but the whole thing has expanded so much now. I have friends all around the world, people I would call friends, not just acquaintances. There are good, solid friendships around the world, and I would never have dreamed of being able to have this friendship network, as I call it, without Toastmasters.
Oh, that's fantastic. And there is a difference between a network of acquaintances and solid friendships. So thank you for making that distinction. When I talked about your history and what you've done within Toastmasters, I note that there's been a lot of leadership and not just public speaking. And I think most people, when they think of Toastmasters, think about giving speeches, but clearly there's more to it than that. Do you want to talk a bit about the leadership side?
There is a lot more to it. When I first came into Toastmasters, I became a club secretary, but it was when I became the club president at Balgala that I realised I had to give a mini speech, just 2 minutes at the beginning of the meeting. I had to close the meeting and speak in between. And as a leader, it meant I had more speaking opportunities. And to me, that meant I would accelerate more with my growth and development through Toastmasters, because as a leader, you definitely get more speaking opportunities. Certainly when you go into the high-level leadership within the district and you take on the club growth director role and those roles, district director roles, there's a lot of speaking opportunities that you wouldn't normally get. And it's about getting those speaking opportunities that will help you to grow and develop as a communicator.
Yeah, fantastic. That's good. I know a lot of people do try and shy away from those leadership experiences. And like you, I try to encourage them to embrace it because it gives you so many other opportunities.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Now, you started Northern Beaches Toastmasters 20 years ago. What made you even dream of starting? Well, first of all, tell me what's different about Northern Beaches Toastmasters to most other clubs?
Northern Beaches Toastmasters is a dinner club, and most clubs are not dinner clubs. It meets just once a month, which I think suits many people as well. But the fact that we could go out to dinner once a month, socialise, I guess, give our speeches, table topics in quite a different environment. The club environment is a great environment to learn, but I felt that in a restaurant, it was more of a real life situation where you are, as a speaker, competing against background noise from perhaps other patrons in the restaurant, kitchen noises, the waitress coming past you. So it was more of a real life situation to have a dinner club. And at that time, there was only one other dinner club on the northern side of Sydney Harbour. And that club didn't have many meetings around the Northern Beaches area. They were focused more around St Ives and in that area. And there were a couple of clubs down on the south side. So Graham Blandy was Graham Blandy's brainchild to create this club. And we thought about what to do, but we said we would have it specifically for the Northern Beaches area because it's a fabulous, fabulous place to be.
Fantastic. And look, here we are 20 years on and we are still meeting in restaurants. And the challenge of COVID meant that we found different ways of doing that. We met online, but we all got takeaway from our little restaurants we wanted to keep alive. And we'd have a break and eat our meal over Zoom as we all chatted. So we kept it as a dinner club even through that time. So thank you to you and Graham for starting it out as a dinner club. Jan, how many speeches do you think you've given over all of your years of Toastmasters? Would you have any way of calculating it?
You know, I sometimes wonder about that. I did complete around 35 competent communicator manuals. So that was
10.
And that's 350 speeches there. There were 15 advanced manuals, and I would have done all of those manuals at least twice, and some of them I did more than that. So another 150 speeches there. And then I completed something like 6 learning paths in pathways. And apart from that, there would have been the many speeches that I delivered as a district director for the district events, for all the division contests that we used to have to attend. So I'm thinking I've probably given, I don't know, it's probably getting up to 1,000 speeches, but I'd say 800, 900 speeches.
Fantastic. That's definitely professional level, well and truly. Oh dear. And do you have one situation, maybe at Northern Beaches, that stands out as unique or a little quirky when you were presenting or at a club?
There was one place where we met in Balgowlah, and I remember that we had asked for the restaurant to be ours exclusively, or at least a space, but the way they had sat our table, it was so that when the front door opened, people coming into the restaurant had to walk straight through our meeting, and the way our speakers were standing, they virtually butting onto the person behind. So there was a chair right behind that person, and the person who was sitting at that table was not happy. Nobody in the restaurant was happy that night. The Toastmasters weren't, because of the situation we were in, and the patrons as well, because it really annoyed them to think that we were standing up and presenting these speeches. It was largely to do with the owner of the restaurant, who decided that he would not close the restaurant off to us, but he would try and make obviously as much money as he could. I can understand that. And it just didn't work. But it's something that is clearly stuck in my mind. And the key to it is clear communication with the venue operator, that to make it very clear to them exactly what you want when you're making that reservation.
That's a really interesting point that you make, because most restaurateurs don't really know what Toastmasters is all about. And so they have a preconceived idea, okay, you're coming with a large group, but they don't really get how vocally active the group can be. I remember one club meeting we had right near Australia Day, and we were near the beaches while we were holding this meeting. And one of our charter members, in fact, as part of her speech, started singing Advance Australia Fair. And the entire restaurant ended up standing up and singing with us. It was extraordinary. It was just that whole energy and vibe. Yeah. And then all the patrons came up afterwards to tell us about Toastmasters. So it was a really interesting experience of putting it out there and seeing how everyone else reacts.
That's a good positive experience. I suppose the one I related was a little bit negative, but it's one of those things, a lesson in that.
It's life, isn't it?
It is life.
And that's why I like the fact that we take some stuff from Toastmasters into the real world. Evaluations is one of my keys, I think.
Yes.
What's next in the Toastmaster world for you, Jan? You seem to have ticked so many boxes. Do you have a dream?
Not really. I tend to be slowing down a little bit in Toastmasters. I'm now only in 4 clubs, Sue, and that's half the number that I used to belong to. But I am a member in a club in District 90, and I'm in 3 clubs in District 69 now. But one of those clubs is about learning, becoming more competent in parliamentary procedure, and that's something that I would like to learn more about, become more proficient in as well, so that I can help others to understand and enjoy parliamentary procedure and business meetings. They can be fun. Yeah. So my focus with clubs now is to be perhaps in advanced clubs where I can expand my learning in a different direction.
I love the fact that, in all these years since 1979, you're still on a learning journey, and that is truly inspirational when I see all the boxes that you've ticked along the way. So thank you for sharing all of that with me and the listeners today. I really appreciate it. We're very sorry that you're not going to be able to join us for the 20th anniversary celebrations in our October meeting, but you are way up on the north now. But I do appreciate sharing your story with us. You've inspired me, and I hope you've inspired many others to give it a go and start their Toastmaster journey. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you very much, Sue, and best wishes and congratulations to all the members of Northern Beaches, past, present and future, who make the club what it is.
That's all for today, folks. See you next time.